about those who lost their lives that day.
But first, a deadly overnight shooting outside an Augusta Waffle House.
The Richmond County Sheriff's Office tells us 32-year-old Nicholas Wilson was shot and killed. Investigators are looking for this suspect, Andrew Gaines, considered armed and dangerous. Our Kennedy Harris live for us at that Waffle House on Gordon Highway near Tubman Home Road where it all happened.
Kennedy, what do we know so far about what happened there?
Yeah, Meredith, despite the shooting, when I first got here around 10 a.m., the Waffle House was pretty busy. It had a pretty busy breakfast crowd, and around that same time, I spoke to several employees who work in this plaza, and they were just learning of the news. What we know is that 32-year-old Nicholas Wilson was found by police laying in the Waffle House parking lot unresponsive shortly before 2 a.m. this morning. Wilson had at least one gunshot wound. After police got surveillance video and spoke to witnesses, they were able to track down the suspect, 31-year-old Andrew Dion Gaines. And as I said earlier, I spoke with several employees that work in this plaza, and many of them were shocked to learn the news and said the thought of someone being killed just yards away from where they work makes them a little on guard.
You just have to be aware and always be on your guard, no matter where you're at these days and times. It's the times we're living in. It's terrible.
And after the shooting, Gaines stole a car. It was not the victim's car. The incident report does not specify where the car was taken from. It was later found around 2 o'clock, but police are still on the lookout for the suspect. He is considered to be armed and dangerous. And coming up at 6 o'clock, this is not the first shooting in this Waffle House parking lot. We'll speak to more employees about what they would like to see change.
Certainly a sad story, Kennedy. Thanks for the live update. If you have any information, investigators ask you to call the number on the screen, 706-821-1083.
It's been a pretty day outside, but Riley, it's forecast.
Sounds good, Riley. Thanks a lot. We're learning new details about a man who died while being taken into custody in Aiken County.
The incident report says when deputies arrived to check out a possible robbery, that's when they found 31-year-old Xavier Myers in the road. Now, that report goes on to say that's when Myers told deputies he was high. He apparently told them to take him to jail, but after they put Myers in handcuffs, the report says he started resisting, trying to run into traffic and even kicking. The deputy tased him while trying to get him into the car.
Now, over the weekend, we reported while they were on the way back to the sheriff's office, deputies say Myers started hitting his head on the partition, kicking the windows of the car. The deputy called for backup, and the sheriff's office said Myers became unresponsive while they were putting his legs in restraints. They did take him to a hospital where he later died. Augusta fire crews were up early battling this fire this morning at a home that is being renovated, remodeled. This was the scene on Walden Drive just before 6 this morning. It's off Highland Avenue, not very far from the Augusta Municipal Golf Course. That call came in around 5:30. No one was inside the house when it started. They were not able to tell us the exact cause of the fire, but the power company sent a crew over to shut down the power there.
A Screven County man faces a minimum of 5 years in federal prison after admitting he distributed child pornography. Back in August, 34-year-old Daniel Bolino admitted he was sharing images and videos of a minor engaging in sexually explicit conduct. He was arrested on September 1st after an FBI investigation. No word when he'll be sentenced. One person is dead after an early morning crash in Orangeburg County. South Carolina state troopers tell us a Honda Civic was driving the wrong way on Highway 301 near Lariat Road. That's when it hit a Chevrolet Camaro just after midnight. The driver of the Civic died at the scene. The driver of the Camaro was taken to the hospital. We're working to get the identity of those drivers and the condition of the one who went to the hospital.
Thousands gathering at vigils and rallies across the U.S. over the weekend to honor the victims of the deadly Atlanta spa area shootings.
Many spoke out against hate crimes targeting Asian Americans. Mark Strausman has some new details tonight about the 8 victims in the attack.
Friends, family, and a community of supporters grieve for the loss of 8 lives. Shooting victim Xiao Ji Tan was the owner of Young's Asian Massage.
She's a hard worker. I just don't know why this happened to her. I cannot accept it. So far, I still couldn't accept it.
Tan's daughter visited a memorial for all those killed.
I was just hoping that it was not my mom. It was not my mom.
Young Yu's son said in a statement they're devastated and words cannot adequately describe our grief. Hyun Jung Grant's 2 sons wrote in a fundraising post that she dedicated her whole life to providing for them. Paul Michaels was an Army veteran who owned a business installing security systems in the Atlanta area. His brother John says the family is still processing.
We're just handling one day at a time, so I don't think we're going to actually feel the full shock until we actually go down there to the funeral.
Soon-Cha Kim worked multiple jobs according to an online fundraiser set up by her family. The grandmother of 3 is remembered as pure-hearted and the most selfless woman they ever knew. And 33-year-old Delana Yon was at the spa with her husband when she died.
She had had so much good stuff happen to her just in the last year.
She just got married recently. She had my niece, Mia, 8 months old. She had so many good things that just happened.
Her sister, Dana Toole, says Yon's husband is devastated by the loss.
I could look at his face, and I could tell he was in complete shock, denial.
Yon's husband, Mario, was also in the salon in a separate room. He told a Spanish-language news outlet that responding police put him in handcuffs and treated him like a suspect for more than 2 hours. Only then did he learn that his wife had been killed. Mark Strausman, CBS News, Atlanta.
As for the suspect, Robert Aaron Long has been charged with 8 counts of murder. Investigators say the 21-year-old confessed to the killings, but police say they're still investigating the motive, including whether these attacks can be classified as hate crimes.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signing 2 bills into law today, one cutting taxes and one increasing the adoption tax credit. One bill raises the standard deduction on state income tax returns. For individuals, it's by $800 or $1,100 for couples filing jointly. The other bill triples the state's adoption tax credit. Governor Kemp says the goal here is to help restore the state's economy.
As we return to normal here in the Peach State and look to fully restore our economy, it is critical that Georgians keep much of their hard-earned money as possible to revive small businesses in industries still struggling under the weight of COVID.
Both bills had bipartisan support from state lawmakers.
Georgia Republican Congressman Jody Hice announcing Trump's election challenges in Georgia, claiming widespread fraud. Hice represents Georgia's 10th congressional district, covering parts of the river region. Former Alpharetta Mayor David Bell Isle, also a Republican, says he's going to be in that race as well, so that's a busy one to watch. A new study might be able to explain why kids tend to have milder symptoms of COVID-19. Researchers from Cornell's Medical College looking at antibody tests from more than 31,000 kids, teenagers, and young adults. They found the younger the person, the higher the antibody levels. Experts say it shows children have a stronger immune response to the virus, reducing their risk for the severe symptoms. Moderna recently announced it has given its first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine to children under 12 years old. The University of Rochester Medical Center in New York, part of that clinical trial. The trials include 2 doses of the vaccine beginning in the spring. They're looking for healthy kids between the ages of 6 months and less than 12 years old. Kids with chronic diseases, and can also be part of the long-term study as they've been stable for a period of time.
Starting tomorrow, the Georgia Department of Juvenile Justice will be hosting an online hiring event. The DJJ says they'll be holding interviews for multiple full-time positions all across the state. That event lasts until Thursday. Registration is already open on their website, and we have a link on our website, wrdw.com. Parents, if you've been wanting to get out to the library, listen up. Augusta Richmond County Libraries starting phase 3 of their reopening processes today. All 6 branches are now open from 9 to 5:30 Monday through Friday and 11 to 3 on Saturdays. People can use the computers for 45 minutes at a time and go inside and check out materials. Now, you do have to wear a mask, and the library says they will still offer curbside pickup.
But hopefully they understand that we were trying to do what was best, and we were trying to keep them safe and trying to keep our staff safe, and it's just an adjustment. But thankfully, it seems like the numbers are starting to go down and more people are getting the vaccine. So we're so happy today that we were able to open our doors and everyone could come back in.
Columbia County Library is also reopening tomorrow. They say they're not quarantining items at their Evans, Grovetown, and Harlem branches anymore, and you can now book study rooms. That also means fines will start to accrue on any items that are overdue tomorrow and beyond.
Uh-oh, good reminder there.
Yeah.
Check out the crowds in Miami Beach over the weekend. Vacationers flocking to the Sunshine State, taking advantage of those lax COVID measures there. When we get back, how they're trying to keep things under control in South Florida. Riley.
We had a beautiful day out there today and expecting nice weather the majority of days this week. Have to keep an eye on this rainmaker, though. We'll have more on that coming up in the full forecast.
Some breaking news to pass along from a state out west. This is Colorado. We have an aerial shot here from a chopper they have up because there's an active shooter situation that's really centered around a supermarket in Boulder, Colorado. Pardon the moving around here because we're watching all this as it happens. You see an ambulance rolling away. We understand at least 6 ambulances have been called to the scene there, and the store itself is called King Scoopers. It's on an area called Table Mesa, if you're familiar with that part of Colorado. But this is a supermarket, a brand of Kroger. But they're trying to keep everybody out of the area of Boulder, Colorado, where there's an active shooter situation, and we just wanted to show you the pictures as that unfolds for us live this afternoon. We'll let you know when we hear more from out west. Going to show you a scene in Miami Beach over the weekend. It is crazy down there.
Overnight, police struggled to control the large groups of students on spring break and crowds of adults looking to blow off some steam there. Both groups are in the city to enjoy the Florida warm weather and the relaxed COVID rules.
Relaxed is the key word, I think, in all of this. Carrie Sanders reports from Miami as lockdowns and curfews and road closures are now in place, trying to prevent the trouble.
This morning, a state of emergency in Miami Beach after a weekend of chaos. Police deploying a SWAT team on Saturday to help manage the mayhem. Hordes of revelers descending on the popular Florida city, local officials taking extreme measures, using pepper balls to break up the crowd.
There is a curfew in effect from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Instituting an 8 p.m. curfew and shutting down bridges and causeways onto the island of Miami Beach.
Not cool. We're not even getting our money's worth. When was the last time you went to bed at 8 p.m.?
I mean, it was like, it's been a very long time.
Miami Beach Mayor Dan Gelber.
Over the last month, it's been an escalating issue. This is not a spring break issue for us. We don't see it as spring break.
It's a violence issue.
It's a violence issue. It's a public safety issue. It's having too many people in a small area.
But the local crackdowns also sparking controversy.
I don't think that SWAT truck would have been here if it wasn't for people of color and for black folks in the area.
Miami Beach police say our officers police criminal behavior, not people.
Hey, what's up, Miami?
Not all here are college students. The mayor says Florida's lax protocols are enticing tourists. The fear some visitors will get infected and take coronavirus home.
The city of Miami Beach determining they will keep this curfew in effect for the next 3 weeks, beginning evenings at 8 p.m. and going until 6 a.m. Thursdays all the way to Monday mornings, which is not going to go over well with them in that crowd.
You get the idea that people are really ready to get out and do some partying.
Yes.
But alcohol is not the cure for COVID.
No,
as
it's
far
not.
as we can tell.
No.
CDC is not endorsing that just yet.
No, and you know what? It's actually starting to get nice enough for us to be outside here and just enjoy the weather. So at a safe distance.
Exactly, yeah.
Like we are now.
And you can get outside and beautiful weather,
There you
a
go.
lot to enjoy outside, and most of our days this week should be dry most of the day. Actually, the next 3, expecting more clouds than sun, at least through Thursday, but temperatures getting warmer by Thursday, hitting the mid-80s, and we are expecting the 80s to stick around all the way through the weekend. Just have to watch out for some rain Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, Riley, thanks. Businesses opening back up, fewer of us working remotely. That means you may be looking for childcare in the days ahead. How to navigate all the options when we come back.
A backlog in appointments, now leading to increased health concerns.
Yeah, we're busy. I mean, we rarely have openings in our chairs.
The 2 things you need to watch for within your own family. Tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Imagine finding the perfect daycare or preschool for your child. Yeah, it's not easy. And now the pandemic has made it a lot more complicated.
Sure, a lot of parents are struggling now to navigate the system as they try to find childcare. Nancy Alvarez reports on what you can do to give your kid the best start.
The COVID crisis has put an enormous strain on moms and dads with jobs. In a recent report, 75% of working parents said they currently have a child at home while they work, and half who haven't returned to work cite lack of childcare as the reason. Researchers surveyed 1,000 parents and compared the way parents rated preschool programs to how experts measured the quality. Results showed parents tended to rank the programs as high quality when the researchers did not. Also, most parents reported finding childcare through family, friends, or local public schools and did little comparison shopping. As COVID has complicated the communication process, the researchers suggest that parents seek out written information from more than one preschool and request a virtual tour. You may also want to ask about class size, the center's social distancing guidelines, sanitation practices, and the policy if someone contracts the virus. With ways to help your child find the best school during COVID, I'm Nancy Alvarez reporting.
Lots to keep in mind. You really have to do your homework with this, but most parents in the study say they're looking for warm teachers, a safe environment, and a support for academic growth as well.
It really is difficult, though. Researchers stress you should also observe how adults interact with children. Ask about opportunities for children to be physically active, too, because that is so very important.
And the virtual tour is a good idea, too. Say, show me your place.
Yep.
Have a look around before you even go over there.
I mean, there are cameras everywhere now. You might as well have someone give you a private tour on a phone.
Take advantage of it.
Yep.
Riley?
All right, I know a lot of people